like my tie. What if someone could give a good education to their children? Well, that's what teachers do, right? What if someone could tell them the medications to take when they get sick? Or maybe even supply them with those medications and put a cast on a broken bone? Well, that's what doctors and nurses do. What if they only had to go to one spot to pick up supplies instead of 10 different stores 4 hours away? Well, that's what a buyer or a store manager does. What if someone can make sure the money they need arrives every month and is kept safe for them? Well, that's what the finance people do. What if someone can help them with computer programs, take care of setting up email and backups, help them when they got questions, create programs that help with translation? Well, that's what computer people do. That's also where I fit in. I work in the aviation department, maintain their computers, I write programs, I help people answer questions, and I keep everything running smoothly so that the 6 airplanes and the 2 helicopters can fly as much as possible. Well, there's also 2 other types of people who aren't in Papua New Guinea, and that's those guys who are here, who support them through prayer, support them through finances, so that the missionary can be over there doing their job. In this church, we need to take some time to say thank you to this church here, because it's been such a blessing to us. We were talking about blessings earlier. We feel overwhelmed with blessings from being here. And not only for your support and your prayers, but also your friendship and your hospitality as well. We currently have all of our support, which is a great thing. And we're prepared to go back to Papua New Guinea. We leave on June 1st. And we just want to make sure that you know that you guys are appreciated for your part in helping this happen. Well, all these different tasks, they help the translation. They help the translator to be able to do their translation more effectively. And because of these things, the translation can be done in only half the time compared to 20 years ago. There are many more jobs that you can do in Wycliffe as well. The things I mentioned are only just a small part of what is needed. Well, that was a long introduction to set the stage for what I really want to share this morning. And that's what God has been doing in our lives and what we have learned while being missionaries. So if you look at 1 Peter 4, verses 7 through 11, that's where I want to read this morning. 1 Peter 4, 7 through 11. 1 Peter 4, 7 through 11. The end of all things is near. Therefore, be clear-minded and self-controlled, so that you can pray. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each one should use whatever gifts he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in his various forms. If anyone speaks, he should do it as one speaking the very words of God. If anyone serves, he should do it with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be glory and power forever and ever. Amen. If you look at verse 7, it says, the end of all things is near. Therefore, be clear-minded and self-controlled so that you can pray. And praying, I never used to pray much. It was much more interesting to read the stories of the great deeds that people could do, or maybe kind of look up a particular topic that interests me. Besides, who really has time to pray every day or an hour during a day? Well, that's what I thought. But I've learned so much about prayer since I became a missionary. You know, most of us know the Lord's Prayer. If you keep your finger in 1 Peter 4 and turn over to Matthew 6, you'll find the Lord's Prayer there. And in Matthew 6, the Lord's Prayer, most of us probably have this memorized. It goes like this. Our Father in heaven, hallowed or holy be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. As I was reading this prayer and a book about it, it kind of struck me that the first whole part of this prayer was about aligning our will with God's, on focusing on what He desires. God, You're so great. wow, you're holy, you're perfect. God, may your will be done here. God, whatever you desire to happen, may it happen. And the second part of the prayer was for all these things needed in order to make that happen. God, I need physical strength if I'm going to carry out the things that you want me to do. God, I need to be right with others and with you so that the relationships don't hinder your word or your will happening on this earth. God, I need to walk in your ways and not get distracted by things, especially simple things that are around me. You know, I started to realize I was doing these things like Santa Claus prayers. I don't know if you know what a Santa Claus prayer is. It's kind of like, Lord, here's my list and I expect it by Christmas. Or maybe you're doing the gumball God prayer thing. Like, I've been good and I'm doing what you want, so just give me what I need now. Give me the goodies. Or sometimes when I was just praying, it was often with thoughts of what I wanted instead of what God wanted. And when you pray, do you think about what God desires in your life? Do you spend time aligning your desires with God? Do you listen for replies to your prayer? Or is prayer for you like leaving a message on an answering machine? You know, as God's people have prayed, I've seen prayers answered. I've seen people healed. God has spoken. And as I've learned to pray, I've become closer to God. I understand more of what God desires in my life. And I've come to know God's voice. Look at verse 8. It says, above all, this is 1 Peter 4, verse 8. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. Loving. I've learned a lot about loving in the last 8 years. When I arrived in Papua New Guinea, I have to admit that I love myself more than the people of Papua New Guinea. There was one event that really brought that to my attention. Right before Christmas of the first year in Papua New Guinea, our house was burglarized. I became quite angry about it. After all, I'm here serving these people, right? And God sent me here, and you allowed this to happen.